Myles, what do you think the mood of the team is as you guys are really
Positive. I think guys are looking forward to get on the field, prove themselves, and just getting better each and every day.
How do you enter? So you're 9. So how do you enter the camp with expectations for yourself and this team?
Expectations are higher than ever. Expect to bounce back from last year, myself and defensively and as a team. So the standard doesn't change, or at least it doesn't lower. It just raises and improves. I think we have guys who are older, understand both sides of the coin. Come from a really good season, come from a really bad season. It can happen just like that. So you've got to take that into account every single day when you're training and getting to know your guys. The margins for this game are very thin.
Myles, every year you talk about raising your game, taking it to that next level. Even with the Defensive Player of the Year, the trophy case, all the accolades and all the records you've already amassed at this point in your career. So as you come into this season, have you pinpointed what the level beyond that is, and how do you get there?
I expect to get to the Super Bowl. That's our expectation every year, and I expect to run back the Defensive Player of the Year. So, keeping both of those things in mind, I have to be the very best player I can be every single day, whether we're practicing or playing. As soon as I step foot in the building, I have to be the best version of myself and the best leader I can possibly.
Myles, I know every year it seems like you talk about a different theme or focus for your offseason. And if you had to define that this year, what do you think it was?
Letting that inner voice out, everything that I try to keep in, and my inner monologue, how I go out throughout the day, think about things, or just letting people hear that, hear my thoughts, and allow that to speak volumes, and guys really grab hold of it and be able to take it and inspire them, motivate them, and so we can improve. Not just keeping that to myself anymore.
Myles, you guys were such a good defense in 23. Was there some kind of maybe you just rolled out and expected that last year and it didn't happen, or how would you explain that?
How would I explain what?
Why you guys didn't play as well defensively last year as you did in 23, and do you expect this to be more like 2 years ago?
Yeah, we expect to raise the bar again. It's hard to stay at the very top as far as defensively, and we have to come in and understand that last year is gone. You can't expect for teams not to adjust or to just things to roll over and teams to fear us, especially not after 1 year. You have to prove that year in and year out that you'll be the same person or come back better each and every time you step on the field. And I think guys really have come to understand that now after a down year from us defensively last year.
Myles, I have a question about theme. What is the tone that you want to see on the field, especially starting today, but as you guys ramp up and get into the summer, what's the tone that needs to be set by your team?
It needs to be focused and intense. It needs to be intentional every time you step foot on the field, every time you walk into the classroom. You got to know exactly what you're doing and know how you can improve and improve the man next to you.
Myles, obviously quarterback's so important. So how do you view coming in not knowing which one of 4 guys could be your week 1 starter?
That's got nothing to do with me. That's all up to Kevin. And whoever he decides is the best fit for what we're trying to do offensively. Game 1 we're gonna rock beside, and I think all of these guys are very capable, and we have confidence, all of them. But the final decision's on Kevin, and we'll roll with that.
What gives you the feeling or the confidence, now that you've been around this version of the 2025 Browns, the feeling that you guys can make that legit run again at a Super Bowl and the playoff?
The fact that we came off such a down year and guys weren't satisfied. Guys were really disappointed because they knew what we had in the locker room, how within ourselves, and it wouldn't be a letdown if this was the expectation. But it is, because we know we have far more in the tank. We have a great core unit, a lot of young guys, and there's a lot of juice to squeeze. So we're going to continue to try to find the best ways to put guys in position to make plays for us, whether it's offense or defense, and even special teams. And I think we'll really be able to turn the page this year coming up.
Is there a lesson from 2024 that collectively as a team you can carry into 2025 to not only make you a better team, but also to help you get through any adversity that eventually will pop up?
Don't take things for granted. It's never going to be easy. No matter in what position you play, what your record is, what your record was. Any given Sunday, both teams have a chance. So you've got to come out and be that same player every time you step on foot on the field. You can't have a slow step. You can't forget your assignment. All those things that feel like minute details, or just one bad step that can lead to a big play, a touchdown, whatever it is. That's how those things accumulate, and you end up where we were at last year.
Given how frustrated you were at the end of last season, how were you able to get to this place right now where you have this optimism, you have such high expectations for this team?
You got to channel it. I have such high expectations for the team because I have such high expectations for myself. The team's going to go as I go. I'm going to try to be the driving factor behind that, and create a standard in which everyone has to chase every single day.
Myles, what do you expect? Now you saw Mason Graham and OTAs, mini camp and all that. What do you think he can do to help this defense?
From what I've seen this offseason, I think he's worked his ass off. I've seen him in multiple different places, whether it's Pass Rush Summit, Houston with Malik, back up here after that. He's put in the work, and he's really dedicated to the craft. So I really believe he'll get out there and make a hell of an impact, very early.
Myles, in the offseason, Denzel just really went to bat for you, when you were having your trade demand and things like that, and he really sort of just supported the heck out of you. Talks about how the two of you together can lead this defense and this football team. So my question is, how have you seen Denzel grow as a player and as a leader, and what about the synergy between you two guys just helping to pull this team up?
Well, he's been my brother since he stepped foot on this facility grounds, and he's always had my back, and it's always been vice versa. So, and I appreciate him standing by me through everything. But he's been a leader. He's been a leader in that DB room, and I just continue to try to elevate his voice and make him heard throughout the whole team. And I think he is. But can't have anyone feeling like they can't be that leader for the entire team. And I feel like just empowering him and other leaders across the team, other players across the team to make their voices heard, leading by example, but also leading with their voice. That'll create a even more powerful environment where you can really grow and then improve.
Denzel mentioned Mason as a guy that he's keeping his eye on as an impact player, like you said, and somebody he wants to see continue to grow in camp. Is there guys on your side of the ball that you've got your eye on that kind of looking to see take another step or continue their development?
I'll say MJ. MJ for sure. I think he knows that he didn't have the year that he wanted to last year, and he had a great year before that, and he wants to continue to improve. He wants to prove that he's the guy in that room, and that should always be the mindset. No matter who's in your room, whether it's me, whether it's Denzel, you're out to show that you're the very best. Whether it's on your team or across the league. I want to see him achieve those goals for himself. Grant get back to playing at that Pro Bowl level. I want to see those linebackers step up, especially the young ones. I think DB has a lot to prove, Special has a lot to prove, and who's going to be at the end next to me. And I think a lot of guys are really taking hold of that challenge. Jock has made it very, very clear that it's up for grabs. So you look at it like that. You've got to attack every single day. You can't let off the gas for even one play.
Myles, back in minicamp, I know you spent a lot of time talking with Devon, kind of working with him. You guys are kind of going up against each other. What are those conversations like? How much can you help him in a position he's trying to sort of learn because he's more used to the right side as he gets prepared for the season?
Just trying to walk him through my process while I'm rushing what I'm seeing. What I'm trying to set up. If I'm like laying bait or laying traps, and trying to get him to a point where if he can see those things in me, he can see those things in many of the other rushers across the league. I'm not the same style as those other guys, but I can try to emulate that and give him a look so he can be aware of those things and be prepared when the time comes.
You mentioned it ends on the other side of you. What have you seen out of one of the new guys, Joe? And how do you think he can impact this team?
I think he's quick. I think he's explosive, and I think he works hard. He's this first time he's been asked to really rush this much, so I think he's really been up for the challenge, and he's really adapted to the new role pretty quickly. Now we just got to get all the moveset defined and crystal clear. But right now, I think he's really trending in the right direction.
Myles, I know Joel and Denzel talked about this a little bit, but it seemed like in the spring, we saw more competitive periods and offense versus defense periods. And does it feel like that sense of urgency or that focus is heightened coming into camp this year?
For sure. I mean, even talking about it today, the D-line has put a real emphasis on one-on-ones during practice. Having a board, a setup for wins and losses, and just taking hold of that, looking at it where if the guy with the most wins is probably going to be the guy who's lining up on Sunday. The guy with who's getting off the quickest, or beating this guy compared to this guy. I think all those things will be taken into account, and it'll be something that the whole team pays attention to instead of just our groups individually.